All right, and for the last one here, we've just got a couple of general tips about how to play through the world in the game that they're not totally obvious. Number one, these things here, the little messages. If you're playing offline, typically these are very crucial bits of information about how to play the game. Now this one, as it's the first one you encounter right at the beginning, tells you how to move the camera. But you'll see there are others as you move along here. You know, regular attack R1. Cool. Okay, so we know that now. And you'll see them paced along here. Now, if you're playing online, not in this area, but as you get farther in the game, other people, other players can leave little markings like these red markings here that you can read. And it could be true, it could be false, it could be something just for fun, it could tell you some crucial information, it could do a variety of things. So what I'd say to you is try to read all the messages and see whatever you can see to get the information that you can. So all of those, check them out. Also, wherever you go, always check corners and stuff. You know, this is kind of standard exploration rules, but like, look, this path down here that you don't have to go to, boom, there's an item, so you can pick that up. Items will always have that sort of glowing feature. You probably remember that. Then, let's get into a little bit of a fight. So, I've got a sword, and I've got a shield. I can do a light attack, which is a slash, and a heavy attack, a stab. And I can also block. So you see this guy here? Boom! That took up some stamina as I was blocking. But the shield, later. This shield is solid. If we have a look at the shield in the menu, physical, it's 100. So that means it blocks 100% of physical damage. Magic, it'll block about 50, fire about the same, and then lightning and dark is not so good. Stability is important. That governs how much stamina you will lose when you block with the shield. So naturally, if you have higher stability, you'll lose less stamina upon blocking. As standard, we have our Estus Flask, which is the healing item that every character gets. But new to this game, we get the Ashen Estes Flask. This recovers, since it's blue, your FP. So if you run out of FP, you can select it if you like to use it. Once you get to a slightly later place in the game, you'll encounter a blacksmith, and he can allot these Estes Flasks. So if you don't plan on using FP at all, you can put all your Estes into healing. So see how you have 3 and 1 here? You would have 4 healing flasks, for example. Or you could, if you're playing more of a caster type, put 2 and 2, for example. As you go through the game as well, you'll find more Estes Flask shards to up the number of Estes Flasks you can use. Now, some enemies, if you get right up behind them, you can crit. Boom, like that. That's a backstab. It works on almost all enemies. If you're dealing with things that are running around on 4 legs, like the dogs that somehow still always get me, oh, we're going to deal with that. Then it won't backstab them. And let's test this roll here. So you can see he fires. Ooh, that didn't work. Let's try that again. Shoot me again. I rolled right through. So even though the arrow passed, that's the one from before, my shame. But even though the arrow passed or the bolt passed right through me, I took no damage from, well, the second one. You saw that. So even if the attack passes right through, you're good. Now, I'm not going to spoil anything too much. Don't worry. This is just the first area you can get to with a fire. And all of these fires from the beginning of the game are all linked together. So, you learn to rest, and that will refill all of your Estes and the Ashen Estes Flask. It will allow you also, I mean, we don't have any other fires right now, but it will allow you to warp or travel between any fire that you have discovered, no matter where you are. So this is one of those ease of play things that was brought into Dark Souls 3, where you can just warp to any ones you've seen before. You don't have to walk, which is really nice. Now, we've only got one here, and I don't want to show you any of that area because it's really cool. I don't want to spoil anything, but that's how bonfires work. And let's see. Oh, of course, like Dark Souls and Dark Souls 2 and Bloodborne and all the other games, once you use the fire, the enemies respawn. So you have to deal with them again. That's pretty much how it is. So don't feel bad if you lose a bunch of souls. You can always start grinding for more. Although I will say that Dark Souls is not a really grindy game. You don't have to find areas where you really have to grind to level up. Really, the leveling up is done for you. You as a player level up. You learn the patterns of an enemy, you learn their weaknesses, and you learn your own playstyle. A general tip for bosses is it's great to stay very close to them and roll around them. As counterintuitive as that may seem, it's usually good for larger bosses. And don't get greedy with your attacks. It's good that if you attack a couple times, you leave yourself enough little bit of stamina to be able to roll out or get out of the way of an incoming attack. So it's good to slash and maybe get out or hit it with something, shoot it at range, whatever. The game can be played in a variety of ways, and honestly, it depends how you want to play it, and that's what's really cool about this game is that they are all viable. So you can play some hybrid of spellcasting and fighting, you can play a pure spellcaster, you can play a dodge tank, you can play all sorts of cool stuff. Healer, whatever. And all of them you can play reasonably throughout the game. It's just a matter of what you level up in your stats, and so on from there.